Welcome to the How Did We Get Here podcast, the show that allows inspiring women from all walks of life a place to tell their story. Follow along every fortnight as we chat about each woman's challenges, life lessons, and words of wisdom that they have picked up along the way. Everything that has led them to being right here and right now. I'm your host, Jess, and from wherever you are in the world, I hope the story you hear today makes you smile, laugh, and maybe even cry a little. I hope it inspires you and fills your cup up just a little bit more, because in this day and age, inspiration and stories are always worth sharing. So grab a coffee or a tea and settle in for today's episode. And welcome back to another episode of the How Did We Get Here podcast. Thank you all so much for joining me today. And for today's episode, I am so thoroughly excited to welcome my very first international guest. So all the way over from the US, I would love to welcome the amazing Gianna. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. What a beautiful introduction. You're the best. Dude, I'm still shocked that we're doing this still. Like, I'm in New Jersey. It's 8:30 p.m. right now. Like, it's wild, but I'm so for it. Sick.
I'm so happy. We were going back and forth over the last couple of days trying to figure out the perfect timing for both of our schedules to fit this in. But we were like, we have to do this before Christmas.
Yeah, seriously. No, this has to be done before Christmas. It has to.
Absolutely. Okay, so I love starting my episode with my favorite question that I ask all of my guests on the show. So, G, if you were to introduce yourself to someone for the very first time without telling them what you do for work, how would you introduce yourself?
There's it's so hard to say what you want to say without saying like, oh, I'm this person. I do this, you know? But I mean, I guess I would say I'm an extremely passionate person. When it comes to the people I love, when it comes to my work, when it comes to my craft, extremely passionate. Whether you can take that as aggressive or not, I say it's passionate. You know, I'm extremely empathetic. I feel people so deeply, and I honestly don't know how that came about. I guess just because of all the things that I've gone through. I guess it's just helped me to connect to people on a different level that, like, you know, when I see someone's like in pain or not feeling some type of way, it's like I feel it myself, you know?
Yep.
So when it comes to taking care of others and trying to help people reach certain goals, like I make it my purpose, my
Your
soul
mission.
purpose.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
a true mission, and I do it for every single person that comes my way, because not for me, but because, you know, with what I've been through and with how I've gotten here, like I know it's possible, and I want to make sure that everybody that I get to work with and I get to teach and help, like, know that whatever they've gone through and whatever they continue to go through, they can most certainly achieve that as long as they believe in themselves, you know, and as long as that they know that they have themselves at the end of the day, that's all they need to get to where they need to be. And that was a tangent for just that one, but
That's okay. It's
no.
hard. It's hard. Like when someone asks you how to summarize yourself, like let me rephrase the question. What would be 4 describing words that you would describe yourself as a person?
Okay.
So passionate, definitely.
Passionate, empathetic, like chaotic.
Uh-huh. Yep.
This way.
Yep.
And then, God, I mean, intellectual, I guess. Anything intellectually stimulating when it comes to deep problems and stuff like that.
Conversations with people.
I love to dive deep, and I love to hold space and just be able to kind of just delve deeply into what's going on energetically speaking. Like, I'm just all for that. So I guess those are the words I can describe.
That's good. Absolutely. Most definitely. Well, like we said before we started filming, the way we've been following each other on social media, like I believe that our sort of personalities and the way that we are as individuals and people, we align so well, because everything you were just saying, I was like, yeah, 100%. I feel that. I vibe that. That's the way I am as a person, as a coach, in all of my relationships, my friendships. Like I feel everything that everybody else around me does. And I always want people to feel as loved, supported, and guided as possible. And it's amazing when you find other people that understand that about you and see that in you as well. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I love that you vibe with me. It's honestly like I feel you and it's like, oh, I love
Yeah, the vibes are definitely there always.
it.
So if you could tell our audience what you do for work, and sort of after that going into a little bit of detail about the things that you've gone through in your life. So significant events, significant moments that have sort of from your childhood, your adolescence into your adult life that have shaped you into becoming who you are right now.
Well, I mean, currently I'm a personal trainer. I do coaching online, but I'm mostly a personal trainer at my dad's gym, actually.
Mm-hmm.
He's owned it for the past 15 years now. Like, I essentially grew up there. So it only felt right to kind of pay it forward and, kind of grow there and help the people that I've come across that walk in and out of those doors. But yeah, I'm also planning on going back to school for nursing. So this
Oh,
is
wow.
Yeah, this is kind of like that little in between spot where I'm like picking schools and making sure of programs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's always been like the journey actually since I even started college. That was like the end all be all goal. Like I wanted to be a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
At the time I didn't know what kind of nurse I wanted to be, but like I knew I wanted to be a nurse. But going just okay, flashing back to life, just
Let's
life.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Let's go
mean,
on the journey.
yeah, life, man. It was something growing up. I mean, there were years that I definitely dissociated from.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know whether if it's because of the years that were so significant were just that significant that
Yep.
those years just couldn't stick in my head
Mm-hmm.
or that, I just kind of didn't pay mind to anything just because of how all the years were playing out. So I mean, the most that I can remember growing up starting was like sixth grade. Like when I moved, I grew up in Edgewater. It's kind of like 10 minutes from where I am now. It's really not that
Yep.
far, but the community is very different. So I grew up there. I moved to a new place. Everybody knew themselves. They're here. I was an athlete. I was playing basketball actually. And I was actually pretty good. Everybody on the team knew each other and I was kind of
You were
like,
the new kid coming in, and
yeah,
yep. Yep.
essentially. So you know how that goes. Like they
Mm-hmm.
didn't really include me in things and what have you, whatever. Came the championship game one year and they were essentially playing against me even with the opposite team. Like it was the craziest thing you could see.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so like, even though that was happening, still won the game. My name was in the newspaper. It was a big thing. So they ended up having a party that was all about just not having me there and whatever. Just silly, stupid, petty stuff.
God, kids can be so fucking mean.
Is yeah,
So
just
mean.
yeah. And you know how that is when you're growing up, and
It's
like
it's everything. It's your whole social life is your whole world. Like when
yeah.
you're at school, when you're that young, the
Mhm.
relationships, the friendships that you form, like that's everything to you. And
Yeah.
that must have been so incredibly isolating and just really, really hard to deal with.
Yeah. It was that wasn't like even the most of it. Like that was just the beginning of what had spiraled into you know, something you see out of movies. Just the torment that would ensue just daily, just at like the stupidest things. It would be about my hair. It would be about my body. Oh my God, my body. They would talk about how I was as big as the guys on the football team. I might as well join them, and this followed on through middle school. Middle school's where it really got bad. So seventh to eighth grade in my town, at least, was middle school. So
Yep.
goodness, how old are you? How old was I? Had to have been like 12 to
Like
13 years
I was
old.
gonna say 12, 13 years old around then.
Mhm.
Yep.
At this point, I was getting into like fist fights outside of school. There were cops that would wait outside because they knew the gravity of the situations. And, you know, it was just chaos, like to a point where I would be sitting in the library just pulling up prayers and just praying and just praying to just get through these days, and like, people telling me to off myself because of how I looked and
Oh
how
my God.
it was just like
Relentless. Just,
yeah.
yeah.
And for what I looked like and just for who I was, and being that young, I didn't know, so once that all ended and I left middle school, I went into high school. I had the choice of either attending the high school in my town, the public school,
Yep.
or the all girls Catholic high school that was like a college prep school.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there instead, just for getting out of the town,
Yep.
getting a
Getting
better
away from those
grade.
people.
Yeah, just all that, what have you, and the environment wasn't any better there, but I got through those years. I didn't necessarily have a solid friend group,
Mm-hmm.
but here's where problems started like to grow. And this is also where I kind of started developing my love for bodybuilding as well. So I guess it was like a good time at the same time. Like there was light in that darkness at the same time. So, come high school, freshman year, I was like, I didn't even know what happened. Sophomore year comes, I meet a guy.
Mm-hmm.
How that goes. He was a little bit older than me at the time, but I kind of essentially just dove completely head straight into that relationship. Stopped hanging out with people, got completely comfortable. We were eating at Wendy's every day. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was completely pouring into his cup and just not treating myself with respect the way that I needed to at
Yep.
that age growing up. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
How old were you then? Like 16, 17?
At that point, yeah, 16,
Yep.
17 years old.
Yep.
So, but he was into fitness. So at the same time, I was getting into fitness because I was very uncomfortable with how I felt. You
Mm-hmm.
know, now it's junior, senior year, and I go to get a physical, and my doctor was like, listen, you're borderline obese and you have cholesterol that is through the roof. You're borderline diabetic. You need to get a handle on what's going on. And mind you, me and my partner at the time were fighting excessively,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a game, like playing okay and then fighting behind closed doors, playing a
Mm-hmm.
game, like I
That
feel like
pretense of just like everything's okay on the surface, and then behind closed doors, it was just not a
yeah,
good environment for you to be in.
yeah. So I think that's
Yep.
really what kind of like led to me finding bodybuilding as more of like an outlet eventually, because now at this point, my uncle had passed away my senior year of high school, and then my
Mm-hmm.
partner's father had passed away shortly week after. So
Wow.
while we were both dealing with that grief, I was preparing to go to college,
Mm-hmm.
and then the complete flip in personality changed, where this person was saying all these outlandish things, reasons why I was going to college. You're going to college just to do this for this guy, and you're going to he would come to my school. Yeah, like I'm trying to like shorten years.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Craziness, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So like senior year of high school really wasn't that bad, but when I got into college, it was an issue because now all these years growing up, my issue was I never found a place where I felt like I truly belonged.
Mm.
Yeah, I enjoyed sports, and that's what helped me kind of find my footing in
Mm-hmm.
places,
Yep.
but I never felt like I was fully meant to be there.
Yep.
If that makes sense, So
Yeah. You always sort of felt like an outsider, like a little bit on the on the skirting, like the sidelines of things.
exactly, yeah.
Yep.
So now come college, I joined ROTC, Reserves Officer Training Corps.
Mm-hmm.
I was planning on graduating to become a second lieutenant in the army. I finally felt like I belonged somewhere, and now I'm being heckled saying that I'm only doing this so I could be with guys and be surrounded by men, like mental torment as I'm trying to find
Your
a
place in the
place.
world.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it was horrendous, all whilst being away from home for the first time, where I'm very close with my parents. Like they are my tribe and my everything. And it was rough leaving. and only for him to come and harass me every day. It was like, I'm trying to deal with that. I'm still mourning. I'm trying to find who I am. It's like, dude, I don't need this,
No, I don't need that extra shit. Like
Mhm.
trying to weigh me down, trying to sort of, stop your path of growing and becoming the person that you want to as you're growing up. Like you're still young in that situation.
Exactly. So now at this point, I went from not being comfortable working out and training, like it used to take, because my father's a trainer,
Mm-hmm.
so when I had that talk with my doctor, for example, I'm just backtracking a little bit. He had helped me lose my first like 40 to 50 pounds, and it changed my complete outlook on everything. And it made me feel so, so good. And I just wanted to keep up with it in college. And, that's what led me to also falling in love with the physical aspect of ROTC.
Yep.
So little did I know I'd love the military aspect of it all as well, like the science behind that, So now I'm etched into that, right? So now fitness is a big thing for me. Like I'm like, okay, I'm diving into this water a little bit. I'm like, ooh, I kind of like
I
this.
like this. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now come like this first big field training day for ROTC, I don't know what I did wrong. I stepped wrong during a formation with a bag like a rucksack
Mm-hmm.
that we were carrying. And I guess I rolled my ankle and then I rolled my leg again and I fell. So
Oh
now
no.
I had fractured my tibia and I had sprained my ankle. So at that point, there goes the ROTC, the beginning of
Yep.
it. It was like September, just the beginning of the semester.
Oh no.
Yeah, so then there goes that. Then there goes me being able to train in general. My one thing that I had.
Your outlet. Yep. That's gone.
Yeah, and like now I'm like failing nursing courses with everything going on, between the fighting and the constant depression of like dealing with this person that was an ex but wasn't an ex but kind of was. Like it was like such a horrible limbo to be in.
Yep.
And then now at this point, my great grandmother had passed away.
Oh my gosh.
And it just, at this point, it just felt like one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. And then my college counselor tells me, yeah, you're going to have to change majors. You're never going to be able to be a nurse. I'm like, what in God's name is happening to my life now?
No.
So I'm just looking at everything happening. And mind you, I grew up going to all these Catholic schools. I was never forced religious. Like I developed my own spirituality. I developed my own faith. At
Mm-hmm.
this point, I lost it. I was done. And it choked me up a little bit because it's like I've never felt so lost. And like just to be in such a dark place and not know who you are
Yep.
and like what to do with yourself was the worst thing that I could ever experience. And it took so much time to get out of that. It took years. And I'll never forget, like, one day in college, like, it was the weirdest thing. I'm so sorry I'm getting emotional.
Oh my god, no, please don't. No, do not apologize at all.
My, like I said, like, my parents they're spiritual. And I knew my parents would appreciate it if I went to go to church to get, like, ashes put on my forehead for Lent, right?
Yep.
So I go. The room is packed. I didn't want to be there to begin with. I'm like, God, help me. Like, this is not what I want to be doing with my time today. So now I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I guess I just have to kneel here. So I'm just kneeling on the floor in the center of the church and I'm just looking up and I'm just sitting there and out of nowhere, like I just started like crying and I felt like a waft of like energy just lift off of me. And I felt like everything was going to be okay. And I've never felt that sensation before. And I had to leave. I ran back. I called my mom. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I've disconnected from you. I'm so sorry. I've, like I'm just apologizing for for everything that I felt like I did when realistically I just,
It wasn't you. That was not your fault. None of it was your fault.
yeah. And like,
Yeah.
it, you know, it took time to see that, but in that moment, it's like you know, I started surrendering to all those feelings. And like at that point, I was able to start getting it together. I started getting back into fitness. I started getting back, you know, getting my grades up. I was able to bring my GPA from a 1.3 to a 3.4 by the time I was able to graduate.
That's
You know,
amazing.
yeah, like it. And at this point, during the last week of college, it was my first peak week of my first
Prep.
competition, my first prep ever.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah. So, you know, that year where I had that like epiphany of a feeling was when I started to really like walk in and like tune in with myself and just be like, all right, you know, listen, because all these years in the past, I let all these things and all these people that didn't serve me get in the way, and not for any other reason other than the fact that I let them, right?
Yeah.
Like, because also at the same time, when I was explaining myself before, you know, one thing that I've also noticed about myself over the years is that I am an excessive people pleaser. You know what I'm saying? You know, so
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. Preaching to the choir here, hun.
you know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So it's
Yep.
like,
I don't want to let anyone down. I don't want people to think any less of me because if I don't do this, it's I want to prove myself to this person or this person or this person, even if it necessarily doesn't align with you or if it's not something that you want to do. Like
exactly.
that's a really hard thing to identify and to sort of like fix, I guess, in an essence.
Exactly. And it's like, you know, it took all that time, but it's like I finally was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done saying that I'm going to compete, you know, like from the moment that I fell in love with competing and looking up to all these pros that I watched at first, I was like, I'm going to do this. And then from that moment on, it still took me 5 years to actually step on a stage from that point, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have my food under control. I did not have my mental stable. Nothing was stable enough for me to be able to trek forth in a journey like that. There was
Yeah.
no way in hell I would have survived that. So at the same time, all these trials and tribulations and experiences that I've gone through, they've all taught me so much about myself and what I'm capable of, and they've all
Been for a
single-handed,
reason.
yeah, and they've all sincerely prepped me for everything that is to come and everything that has come. You know, they prepped me for getting my pro card. They prepped me for being able to just be where I am now, you know, and just for what I'm about to achieve, you know, like yes, I'm not in nursing school yet, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to nursing school. I'm
Yep.
going to graduate. I'm going to be a mental health nurse practitioner, and I'm going to help so many people achieve what they want to without the self-limiting doubt, without the pain and the torment of their own mind. I'm going to teach them how to work around it, you know, like, and I just know that all those lessons brought me here for that purpose. And if it wasn't for going through all that hell, I wouldn't be here, especially
Absolutely.
here, you know?
Yep.
So that's just like Reader's Digest, but at the same time, not.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's wow. You were just absolutely incredible. And again, I just want to say thank you for sharing that story with us and the story of you essentially and your foundations of your values and your work ethic, I think as well. It's really hard when you're young, when you're a teenager and you're going through life and everyone sort of particularly our society tells us that we need to have everything figured out then and there. And then when you don't have things figured out then and there, you're like, oh my God, I'm a failure.
Mhm.
Where, in reality, we're allowed to change our mind and we're allowed to take our time in terms of like making sure that we figure things out in the ways that we need to figure things out, and for you, you always knew, I think deep down, your purpose
Mhm.
and what you wanted to do with your life. It was just a matter of you realizing that power within yourself and, stopping the people that were taking that life away from you for you to fulfill your potential.
Exactly. I couldn't have said that better myself. Exactly it. Yes. No, sincerely, because all this time it's always been a matter of feeling like I'm giving my power away. But I'm only giving my power away if I do.
Yeah.
Like who am I to give my power away? No, it's
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah.
Unless you're God or me, you're not taking my power away, and that's
Yeah.
fine. And I'm not even gonna lie, there's days where even that thought process still now, I still have to kind of like circle back, where there's days where I'm insecure, or where there's days where I give into self-doubt, where it's like, listen, no, bring it back. You did A, B, C, and D. Who's to say that you can't do it again? Who's to say that you can't do it better? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it's like, I was thinking to myself the other day, it's like, will I ever have moments where I don't think that way, where I don't have insecurities or self-doubts, but at the same time, I feel like it's just me subconsciously worried about not living up to my fullest potential, and just wanting to ensure that I level up myself on a spiritual level. So at the same time, I've just been trying to learn how to give myself grace, you know what I mean? So I think that all these lessons are just in turn all about, as a human being, just learning how to give myself grace through life and everything that it has to offer, because it damn well is not always sunshine and rainbows
No,
all
it's
the time.
not. It's definitely not. And I think though, like self-doubt and a little bit of that sort of that voice in the back of your head,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good thing
Mm-hmm.
when it's not overshadowing your thought process and your decision making and things like that. Like we need to have a little bit of self-doubt. Otherwise, I
Mm-hmm.
believe like your goals aren't big enough. Like they don't
Exactly.
scare you enough. Like if you don't have a little bit of self-doubt,
Mm-hmm.
then you're probably not pushing yourself to your full potential. So it's a
Exactly.
matter of sort of listening to that self-doubt and being like, okay, I have a little bit of self-doubt about this situation, or whatever sort of experience you're about to go into.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's good to be a little bit scared and to be
Mm-hmm.
a little bit unsure, because if you weren't, then it wouldn't have as much weight or significance to you as it does.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, even when it comes to bodybuilding and stepping on that stage,
Mm.
you know, I love every freaking second of it, but there's
Oh,
times
same.
where I'm not afraid for a split second about stepping on that stage,
Mhm.
about something, whether it's presentation, whether it's about the stage itself, whether it's about the competition. Like, it does happen, but that just goes to show how much I do love it and how much I am passionate about the sport and what I have to offer towards it, and just what it's done for me in general and how I could showcase that. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It just, self-doubt really is, it's a good teacher. It's a good
Mhm.
teacher, and it's something that you do need to learn how to learn from and just walk with, essentially. And I think a lot of my journey has also taught me that too, because I'm never a hundred percent confident or 100%, sure of what I'm doing.
Mhm. I don't
I'm
think
still,
anyone ever is.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still learning. I think
Still
everyone's
learning.
still learning, but that's the beauty of life. And nobody's got it figured out all the time.
Mhm.
It's just a beautiful learning process, and it's beautiful freaking chaos all in one too. So that's what I just love about it all. And I appreciate my journey, and I appreciate you for having me, for to be able to, even though it was a blurb of blah and yada, like
Not a
I
blurb of blah.
like
No,
to look at
it's
that, and I went on
oh
a tangent.
yeah.
I just hope that, whether my experiences are the same as someone else's or they're not,
Mhm.
I hope it can show someone that it is always going to be okay,
Yeah.
and you will make it past the darkest times of your life. And there's always light at the end of the tunnel, because that duality is there for a purpose, and you will see the light. You just have to keep moving through the darkness just a little bit longer, and it always ends up okay.
Absolutely. I could not agree with that more. And the only way to sort of get through hard times is honestly just to go head first straight through it. And it sucks while it's happening. But like once you get through that part and you're on the other side, it's just like just a whole weight lifted off your shoulders and you're like, okay, finally I'm through that. And it's, it's incredible once you do get to that point. So thank you so much for sharing that with our listeners and with everyone. So for our listeners that don't really know in terms of your competing career, so you, as you said, and as we can see in the background over there, you're an IFBB Pro. So can you share a little bit of your competing journey with us and your career in terms of, how many shows you've done, your experiences in terms of every show coming into, each year that you've competed, and how and when and where you won your pro card?
I've been competing now for I think 3 years, and I did 10 competitions. The show where I got my pro card was my 10th competition, and I think this past season was the first season that I did the most shows in ever.
10's a lot.
Yeah, I honestly wasn't even expecting to do that many shows, but that honestly was like the beauty of it. Like that was what made it this season specifically so much fun. Like this season was just so crazy in so many different ways. But my first season of competing, what would I do? I did Atlantic States in Teaneck, New Jersey. And that show, like I said, leading up to that show, that was crazy. I was graduating from college. I was dealing with roommates. That was just craziness of its own. That was just insanity, but that was awesome. And then I think that my first year of competing, I also competed in my first national show as well, but that went horribly wrong. I wouldn't say horribly wrong. Yeah, I wouldn't say horribly wrong. It's just,
It was just not the best.
Yeah, it just was not the bestest. Like, when you wish you went to the bathroom and you just can't go. Like, it was just one of those days. It was just one of those days with prep, like show day problems. But also, like, just my coach at the time. I had a different coach during my first season, and boy, does having a good coach make a huge difference.
I could not agree with that more. Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, don't. It's just between the level of communication and just comfort. Like, I felt like I couldn't ask my coach anything without feeling like I was going to get snapped on the hand with a ruler. Like,
What?
yeah, I don't know why.
My coach right now, he's the third bodybuilding coach that I've had in my competing career, and he's by far the best coach, but also like my big brother. Like whenever I need advice, whenever I need help with something, or, even with like my coaching business, he is my first port of call because he's so knowledgeable. He's so resourceful and so smart. And he's my first port of call, and like everything that I need in prep, he's just always on it, always there. Like, not even just the diet and the training and the protocols and everything that goes with it, but just like emotionally, he is just so there with everything that I need. And I could never ask for a better coach than him.
Oh, I love that for you. That's how I feel about my coach now. That's how I feel about, do you know Gianna Moore?
Oh my God. Yes. I love her.
Coach. That's my
yes.
Dude, she's been just such a game changer, not only as a coach, but she's just such like a soul sister.
And she is so beautiful.
Yeah. Like, just being able, like, because she has such a way of being able to build such a beautiful connection with you. And she does it so differently with all of her athletes that she coaches, and it's just like, she's to the T. She tells you how it is. She tells you what you need to do for yourself. Like, and she just looks out for you. In this day and age, it's so hard to come by a coach that's going to look out for your best interest, and instead of just telling you, okay, yeah, bet you look good, get up on there, do your thing,
do this,
what you gotta do. Like, no, this is a financial investment. This is a mental investment.
100%. Physical, everything.
It's everything goes into it. You can't just put someone up there for the sake of, I want to go up. No.
Yeah.
So, that in itself is a game changer when it comes to Lee. Like, if I'm not ready for something, she will tell me. If I'm ready, she will tell me. If I'm if I'm in my head, she will tell me. Like, she's just so with the program and just such a good human being to have in your life. And I honestly don't know where I would be without her. And I'm just so grateful to have her by my side. Like, she's just the best. She's so smart. She's just so intuitive, and I just love her. She just made
She's
this.
just amazing at what she does and
Yeah,
what she's brought for you in
yeah.
terms of your competing career.
I did 4 shows last season. I did 10 shows total.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Bodybuilding career. 10 shows
Right.
total.
Got it.
This past season in general, I did 4 shows. So I wanted to do a little warm-up show. So I did Garden States in June. And I placed 4th. It wasn't really too bad. I kind of was dealing with some inflammation issues just because I had gotten out of a relationship and it was quite toxic. And you know how that goes. So the result showed. It is what it is. So now
Yep.
I was like, all right, now I got the nerves out. We're ready for nationals now. So we hit MPC Universe first. And
Was that in Jersey?
yes, that was also in New Jersey. The venue's actually like 10 minutes, not even from my house. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. I was like, I need to do that one.
Yes.
It was so nice. Yeah, I placed 4th there as well. I thought I brought a tighter package, whatever, but I was like, okay, it is what it is. We keep on moving forward. And like I said, something different that I noticed about this season of competing that was very different to my other seasons was that I was just energetically lighter. Like,
Yeah.
because, when it came to, for example, that relationship ending, that was me doing something that I never really did for myself. I enforced a really, really huge boundary.
Good.
And it just did something for me, energetically speaking, that just kind of played a huge domino effect into my prep. And not even just for the fact that the relationship ended itself, just being able to say no and do something for myself, specifically for myself, without any extension, and without the stress of it, it was everything to me because I'm not one to do that. I will die for the ones I love. I do everything I want and need to do for the ones that I love, even if that means sacrificing
The things
myself.
that you want to do, or your passions, or your drive, or your goals. Yep.
Yeah. And while that is great and all, it's not for me at the same
Yep.
time. And I need to find a balance. And, it was showing in my prep. So I was like, all right, I can't keep sacrificing myself
Something
So
has to give.
exactly. So, after that second show, I was like, I'm still in this really good energy. I feel really good. Let me do something crazy and just go to California and compete at USA's. So
Wow.
that's exactly what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I went to USA's in Cali and it was a beautiful show. I brought a much tighter look. I was fuller. I brought I got for my feedback was just to bring, they wanted fuller glutes, fuller shoulders, and a little more conditioning. So I did what I could to do that, and I placed 4th again. So now, at this point, I was like, you know what? I've been in prep since February, and at this point, it was July. It was July. So I was like, I've been in prep since February. It's been a very long time. I need to
That's
chill.
5 months. Yeah.
I'm like, I need to chill.
Yeah.
Now I'm out to dinner with a girlfriend of mine, and out of nowhere, this guy with a drink in his hand, he comes up to me at the table, and he's like, so now at this point, I had already decided that I was ending the season. Right? I was like, listen, it was a great run, 4th place. I got that multiple times. That just goes to show I need to work on it. I need to apply this feedback, and I need to bring something better next season. So
Yep.
I was fine about it. I was happy with what I've achieved. And then I don't know where this guy comes, and he's like, listen, I just wanted to tell you, you looked great up there. We want to see you again in the next couple of weeks. We just need a little more pop. You're right there.
Who is this
Exactly.
guy?
Exactly my point. I was so shocked. I was like, who's this man?
Who is this man?
Exactly. And then I'm looking at him sitting and who he's sitting with at the table. He's sitting with all the judges from the show. It was one of the judges. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah. So immediately
What?
after, yeah. So immediately after I go upstairs and I call Liana, I'm like, dude, something in me is telling me I need to do another show. Is that
Yeah.
okay? Am I okay? She's like, honestly, dude, if you feel like you can do it, I'm not gonna stop you. If you feel like you can do it, I'm like, I feel like I got this.
Yeah.
And something in me, dude, like I never felt so sure of something in my life. It was the
Yeah.
weirdest sensation, and everything just kept falling into place, falling into place. At this point, I just was on maximum flow time. Like
Yeah.
nothing was being forced. And, I go down to Pittsburgh for North Americans now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my third time competing at North Americans. So the first time I competed, I placed, I believe it was, I think 11th or something, 11th
Wow.
place.
Yep.
And then my second season, I got top five. I placed fifth. And then my last time, but yeah, that day, man, it was crazy. And leading up to oh my God, the whole day was it was chaos in itself. So, okay.
No.
Yeah,
Set the
literally.
scene. Tell us. Set it out.
It was fine. Everything was great leading up to show day. Everything was perfect. At this point, I was able to have a burger and fry. I'm refeeding. Everything's fantastic. And then, show day comes. I'm having the most nonchalant morning. I'm chilling, doing my makeup for 3 hours. I'm just taking my sweet ass time
Time.
that day.
Yep.
I got the live stream on, so I was kind of like aware of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Then out of nowhere for prejudging, it went from like 0 to 100. Out of nowhere, the bikini division was on. I'm like, oh shit, like what the hell? When did this happen? So now we're flying to the hotel. I get there and I had no idea that my class was already online.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So now Liana's texting me. She's like, are you having your other meal? Let me know. She's like, are you having your other meal? Let me know when you're getting ready to get on stage for your pump up snack. I'm like, all right, bet. So now I'm walking in, no shoes, no number, no earrings. I have a rice cake. I still have like 5 rice cakes left to eat. I have had no water. I haven't pumped up anything. It
Yeah.
was it was something. So now I'm sitting there, practically thumb up my ass, just chilling in the back. I'm like, why is it so empty? So now,
What's happening? Where is everyone?
literally,
Yeah.
so now I'm hearing my number faintly in the background, and the guy goes, he goes, oh, she hasn't even been here all day. We might as well just check off her name.
Oh no.
So I'm like, with rice cake in my mouth, I'm like, absolutely not. I'm right here. So now I'm rushing. Strangers helping to put my earrings in. God bless them for helping me.
Yeah.
God. And then, dude, so I run to the line. I didn't even have time to eat. I didn't have time to drink. I'm just rushing up. I'm rushing up. So now I'm in the line. Please tell me I'm okay. Please tell me I don't have to be running around like
Yeah.
this. Like, you're good. Chill. I'm like, okay, bet. Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. So now I'm like, okay.
So had you missed your class?
I was just about to.
Okay. So they were getting you in line, ready
Yes,
to get on
yes.
stage. Okay.
Ready to
Yep.
get on
Got it.
stage. So I
Yep.
was just about to. Oh God. So now I'm fine. I'm chilling now. I'm like recouping. And now every time, you know what I notice? Every time I step on stage, I slightly like black out a little bit. Like I dissociate a
Mm-hmm.
little bit and then I get up.
Yep.
That happened. Let's
Yep.
go. Like I
Yep.
did it. So at this point I was getting ready for all that to happen. And it kind of was happening, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was just one of those days. It was just one of those days.
Oh.
So now I get off stage, I'm like, bro, did that actually just happen? But yeah, I just did that and that was great. And then leading up to finals, I just, I once again was just chilling and I just, I kind of felt very ready to step on stage again and just bring everything that I worked so hard for within those weeks from February to
Mm-hmm.
August.
Yep.
And it just all unfolded out of nowhere and then boom. card. It hit.
Won your pro card.
Yeah. And it just, I'm still soaking it in. It still hasn't hit me yet. I think for me, it's going to hit when I start prepping for my pro debut.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that was probably one of the best days of my life so far. You know what I mean? Like, because I went from looking up to those pros and watching them every day during breakfast while I was chilling, while I was doing cardio, when I was stressed out, and now I am finally a pro. Like it's crazy to me.
It's surreal. It's wild. It's amazing.
Really
yeah. So what's your plan in terms of like which pro show you're thinking of doing?
So
what's you and Lee's plan?
Oh God. So we're planning so far to most likely start prep in May, just because. So I wanted to do New York Pro because once again, it's going to be at the same venue that's like 10 minutes away.
Yep.
So I was like, and plus that was my first show spot. So I was
like, it's sort of like a full circle moment.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
yep.
But also I would have to start prep for that in January. So it's like, yeah.
You need a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and plus I have a couple of other things that I'm trying to achieve and like other things that I'm working on. So like I'm overall just trying to really focus on just growing everywhere, growing in all aspects, you know what I mean? And, but as of right now, prep most likely starting in May. I'm very excited.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
So good. So good. Wow. I had no idea. I mean, like I knew when you were competing. I think I messaged you before you had competed to say good luck or congratulations after you had just won. And I was like, oh my God, she did another show. What?
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much. I get so overstimulated. I get so overwhelmed by my messages sometimes that like,
that's so fair.
You know how it gets, but it's like, thank you again. I appreciate it.
Amazing.
So much.
And it's just a testament as well to like, every single time you compete, you get that step closer. And it's like, even if you were just there every single time, like your love and your passion, your determination to want to be someone in this sport is, what ultimately got you that win and got you over that line. And that's incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It really is everything to me. It's something that, I don't know, it always brings me back to my sense of self now. Like it feels like I finally found something that, I belong in and I thrive in, and it's
yours.
Yeah. It's the most wild feeling, but it's something that I embrace and I cherish daily, sincerely.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. And that's why I've loved competing from the moment I stepped on stage. Like there's nothing else like it in the world. Here in Australia, there's not as many shows per season as there is in America. But, my ultimate goal would be to compete overseas. Like I would love to come and compete in the States or in Japan or something, just somewhere overseas. But yeah, I think I'm taking a little bit of a break for over the next like 12 months at least. My twin sister's getting married at the end of next year. So I want to be completely, so I'm maid of honor. So I want to be as present as possible to be able to support and help her through all of that. And, and just take some time for myself, like we said, grow a little bit more and and then see what's on the cards for me after that.
Yeah, which is so smart because it's like, it's so hard to be so present in normal life when you're prepping. And that's also kind of why I also want to take this time off.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like I've been so disconnected from family and friends and stuff like that. It's like, I need to kind of get back to my roots and the things that bring me joy and the people that bring me joy. And, especially because a couple weeks ago, I did have a loss in my family. So it's like just trying to recenter and,
yourself.
Regroup, so that's what I'm prioritizing. So I feel you completely on that. You know what I mean?
On the note of the things that do bring you joy outside of bodybuilding and outside of training, like what are some of those other things that bring you joy?
Oh goodness, my beautiful parents.
Yeah.
Everything. My God. If you ask me who my best friends are, it's definitely those two.
Yep.
they're my ride or dies, and they do everything for me and more. And when it comes to the sport, like, I honestly don't know where I would be if it wasn't for them either. Like, they've been a huge support system and just been there for me through everything. And I just couldn't be more grateful for them. My cat. My cat brings me joy. I
Yeah.
love her. Her name is Chance. She's a little crackhead baby.
Well, what breed of cat is she?
So she's like she looks like a blue Russian, but she's a
Mm-hmm.
Karen.
Oh,
Are you familiar?
okay. No.
Yeah, so apparently they're from Thailand, and they're
Okay.
like mystical, like good luck creatures, like they're good omens of Thailand. So I'm like,
Well,
okay,
that's
go
good.
off, Chance.
All right, Chance. Yeah.
Right? Oh God, my baby. But and yeah, just I love, oh my God, just walking and being able to walk and breathe and just like walking has become, if it isn't bodybuilding that is an outlet for me, it's
Mm.
literally just being out in the fresh air in nature and
Yep.
just being able to just recenter myself. Like I said, my head is so noisy and it can
Mm-hmm.
get so noisy that like I really try to find things that are able to kind of bring me back to myself.
And
And
recenter you a little bit.
yeah, so it's like
Yep.
walking during like a beautiful sunrise or a sunset, like
Mm-hmm.
does it for me every single time. It just rejuvenates my soul and it just makes me feel so good. Oh my God. And then just helping people to feel like their bestest selves and just seeing them feel better, like as they go along the process and the journey, like nothing makes me feel better than seeing people feel better. I
Yep.
just like,
It brings you so much joy and so much sense of purpose. Like,
yeah, I
yeah.
wholeheartedly just love helping people grow and helping people conquer their worst fears and helping them to realize that the power was always within them all along. It's like I live for that. I live to rise, to help people rise up. And
Mm.
if I could do that for the world, I wish. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, it's the little things that bring me joy.
Definitely.
It
Definitely.
always. I don't need much to be happy. I just need my family and I need everyone that I love and my beautiful friends to be safe and happy and healthy.
And a good cup of coffee, I think, also brings a little bit of joy.
Dude, I am holding back on that one. You know me. I am a caffeine crackhead.
I know. That's why I was like, why didn't she list coffee in the things that bring her joy? Like,
Coffee.
I know coffee is a big thing for
That is
you.
also my pride and joy.
Yeah.
I should probably invest in Starbucks at this point because it's really bad. It's so bad.
What's your Starbucks order?
So off season, so right now I've been getting 4 shots. I know.
Mm-hmm.
It with
I'm right there with you.
okay,
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah.
With So I get 4 shots with 2 pumps of sugar cookie, 2 pumps of sugar-free vanilla, and then I get a light splash of almond milk, and then non-dairy salted caramel cold foam on top. It is a fun drink.
Okay, next time I go and get, because there's not really a Starbucks like close to where I live.
Mhm.
I either need to go into like a shopping center or like into the city or something like that. But next time, can you just like send that in a message to me
I
so I can
got
order
you.
it? Thank
Yes,
you.
I got you. Dude, it's so good. You're gonna be like, you're gonna be stuck. You're gonna be addicted. And I'm sorry in advance, but
So
I'm
fun.
not.
What an addiction to have. Honestly, I'm already addicted to caffeine at this point, so it's fine.
See, so you could be a part of my club.
Yes, please.
But I love it. But
Oh my
yes,
goodness.
caffeine, coffee, especially coffee. You know why? Because so I'm Puerto Rican and
Mhm.
my family, like, I don't know if it's Hispanics everywhere, but my family growing up, like like when my dad was a child, he had coffee with his cookies with his aunts and his mom growing up.
Yeah.
I was the same way with my cousins growing up at my grandma's house. Like we had
It's just
coffee.
so embedded into your
Yeah.
culture and your life.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
even during prep, like getting a coffee, like whether it was black or what have you, just being able to sit down with my parents, like that was the only time I felt like I was able to just be a normal person
Mhm.
during prep. So it
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
became like a fun pastime for me, like a normal human thing to do,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love it for that reason too, but it's
definitely. It's fine. At least we can admit it. Like, we know.
That's true. Yeah, I will openly say that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, my love. So as we're sort of wrapping up our episode, I love to sort of end on a question that I love asking all of my guests. And that is, if there's one piece of advice that you right now could give to, you know, your 7-year-old self or your 10-year-old self, what would that piece of advice be?
That, you know, like I always said, like I've been saying, that at the end of the day, it's always going to end up being okay. And, you know, God wouldn't be giving you these trials and tribulation if he didn't think that you were tough enough to handle them all and come out stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So you keep your chin up and you keep moving forward. And don't you dare let fear stop you. And
oh, don't, because I'm going to start crying. Yeah.
I would say that to her because she was scared.
Yeah.
You know, so if I could say that to my 8-year-old self, I would. And I hope everybody says that to their 8-year-old selves and, you know, to their children, and just embed nothing but courage and strength in them. It takes people a long way.
Oh, you're going to make me emotional.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's definitely a beautiful piece of advice to give to your younger self, especially like we said earlier, when you're in it and you're that young and you're that sort of impressionable and your whole world revolves around the people that you see day in, day out. And for you, that was during middle school and high school. And, you know, it's so easy to not know that there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think even kids today as well have it pretty bad in terms of how society and bullying and, you know, the school environment is in this day and age. Like, I know it is pretty dire here in Australia as well. And, you know, I think even being the ages that we are now, giving ourselves a little bit of grace and a little bit of, you know, kindness in terms of, okay, if you don't have it all figured out right now, but don't lose hope, because, you know, you will figure it out eventually, because everything happens for a reason. And everything, as long as you believe in your ability to get yourself out of this, it will happen.
Exactly. It's not happening to you. It's happening for you. Always.
I love that.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you again for everything. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for coming onto the show. And again, for anybody listening, if there was, you know, a message or anything that you've sort of taken away from today's episode, and, you know, if anything resonated with you, we both really hope that it was, you know, enlightening for you and something that gave you a little bit of hope. You know, if you are going through something currently, or, you know, you're getting towards that light at the end of the tunnel, and, you know, just hang in there and just, you know, keep pushing through it, because life is freaking amazing. And there's so many good things to look forward to and to do, and, you know, it's yours. It's your journey to experience. So
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, Gianna, thank you again, my love. Honestly, it means the world to me, and what an incredible opportunity it was to speak to you. And again, I can't thank you enough.
Thank you so much again for having me.
You are so welcome.
It means so much to me, and more, again, that you asked me. And I hope that my craziness makes people feel comforted, and, you know, like there is hope for whatever they're going through, whether it's good or bad, you know, because even in good situations, it never hurts to have hope for better situations, you know?
That's exactly right.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate you.
You are so welcome.
And I adore you. You're a light in this community, and never stop being you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, and once again, everyone, if you haven't already, please make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button. And if you do want to leave a comment and suggest anyone else that you'd love to see on the show, please make sure that you do so. And thank you again for tuning in to today's episode, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.